You are an Olim parent here in Israel. The sirens can go off at any moment. You are far away from your country of origin and the family support you had there. You're trying to parent in a culture that's not your own just yet, and a language you may not master. And your children, driven by anxiety, glued to the screen and eating snacks like there's no tomorrow. If that's your reality right now, like it's mine, then this episode is for you. I'm Dr. Dahlit Brin, and this episode actually started as a very casual phone conversation with my very own sister this morning. Both of us Olot, and both of us work together with other Olim, trying to help them to keep it together in this very trying reality. So we both decided to jump on Zoom and record 2 episodes back to back to provide you, our fellow Olim parents, with as many practical tools to help all of us to get through this crazy reality we're living right now. Together with my sister, Dr.Aviva Ainbinder, parenting strategist, ADHD expert, and founder of the Calm ADHD method, we will talk about the 2 big themes that currently pose our biggest challenges. Uncertainty, when you can't rely on your routine and you're not sure how to really plan your day or even the next moment. Anxiety, your own and your children's, and how to respond in a way that can actually help. Creating a flexible, good enough routine when you're running to the shelter any moment. Handling screen times, chore, snacks and sleep without the need to feel guilty. Redefining what success looks like in this very trying reality. And being kinder to yourself while still giving your children that sense of stability and security. So if you're exhausted and overwhelmed and wondering whether you're doing good enough as a parent in this trying period, then just know that you are not alone. So join in this conversation and get doable, practical and compassionate strategies that you can use with your children today. Hello and welcome back to the show, Dr.Aviva Ainbinder. So lovely to have you on the show again.
Thank you for having me.
Okay, so you are actually a parenting strategist, creator of the Calm ADHD coaching method, and my big sister.
Yes, I am.
And you've been on my show before. We talked about the parenting culture gap for Olim that most of us, if not all of us, face. And I'm very pleased that you actually quite spontaneously jumped on this call with me. We had a phone call this morning, and then we said, let's just create a podcast to help parents, especially Olim, in the crazy reality we're living right now, because yes, we're at war again. We've just finished the first week. We're going on to the second week. Schools have just been canceled for the next week. Parents have to go back to work. It's pretty mayhem, and it's a hard reality for anyone, especially for Olim. And so I'm very pleased that you jumped on this call, as I said, so we can actually put some real practical help. And as we were talking earlier, we decided that there was so much help that is needed and so many tools we want to give that we are actually going to record back to back 2 episodes. We're going to put them out today to give all this help to fellow Olim parents. The 2 biggest challenges that parents, and especially Olim parents, are facing are uncertainty and anxiety, both the parents and the children. And we're going to talk about both today. We're going to give practical tips and, of course, some expert insight to help everybody deal with the situation much better. So the first episode is going to focus on uncertainty. What do we do with it? How can we best handle it? How can we, first of all, handle ourselves much better as parents? And then how we can help our children. And the second episode, we'll talk about the anxiety part and what we can do very practically to help our kids and ourselves, of course, handle anxiety and keep our kids busy. Lots to do. Let's get cracking.
Yes, let's go.
Okay, so first of all, why is uncertainty such a big issue?
The human brain really needs certainty. We do not thrive well in uncertain times. Our brain does not like it. And this is actually, we spoke about it last time, where boundaries come in, because boundaries give us certainty. And now we don't have boundaries. We don't have boundaries when it comes to sleep. We don't have boundaries when it comes to going to work. We don't even have boundaries when it comes to, can I have a shower or not?
Yes. So we don't have that framework anymore, if I maybe use a different word. So, but because often when people say boundaries, it's like, what am I allowed and not allowed to do? But now it's not so much what am I allowed, but what can I actually do? So what's the framework that I can work with them? And we don't have that framework because we don't know when the next alarm is going to come off. And that's a big issue. Okay. So that's, So what I found very, very useful generally with my coaching clients and also with myself in normal times is to focus on what is in my control. And that is even more so important in these very challenging times because we don't know when the next alarm is going to come off. It's not in our control, but how I handle myself, what I choose to do in those times where there's no alarm and when there is, that is in my control. And that's something that helps me empower myself. So in a parenting context, what do you have to say about that? You know, the focus on what's in my control.
One thing that is definitely not in my control is when the alarms go off, as you said.
Right.
I cannot control if my kids freak out or not.
No.
That is their reaction. It's not mine.
Yes.
And that, which leads me right into what can I control? It's my reaction. And also not control if the government or Picot d'Orif decides to open schools or kindergartens. If there is, if we have to homeschool, or if we have a technology mix-up, which happened yesterday when my son in front of the camera and he just couldn't get it to work. So those are things that are literally not in our control. However, I can control, first of all, how I regulate myself and how I respond.
Right, and we'll give some more tips in the second part.
Yes, exactly. I can regulate myself, or I can control how I talk to my kids.
Yes.
And obviously I can try to put some structures and routines into the running of this household. Screen time, whether it is chores. Maybe my kids have already chores. So for example, my son's chore is to take out the rubbish. I'm not letting him do that at the moment because it's a 3-4 minute walk, and
right.
No,
of course.
It's but he still has to do chores.
Yeah. And I think you're touching about something very interesting, because on the one hand side, we said our brain, we need boundaries or framework to give us that sense of stability and sense of security. And yet we don't have that. And in current times, what I know and feel, what helps us to build a different type of framework is flexibility. So I cannot expect that my day-to-day running and my day-to-day parenting, as I can do it in times of peace, will actually hold now. So I need to be flexible about it. So can you give us some example? I mean, I obviously have my own examples. We'll share them in a minute, but I'm more interested to hear what you have to say about flexibility when it comes to parenting, and trying to work a routine, because the routine is important for all of us for that sense of security.
Yeah. So let's just talk about one thing that I hear often from parents, which is screen time.
Oh wow, big one.
Which is a big one in non-wartime, but
absolutely.
But we're stuck in the safe room or in the bomb shelter, depending on what you have. And a lot of times the kids are just on the phone because how many times can you sing the same song, and how many times can you play the same card game?
Right.
And let's be honest,
and
we're also on our phone.
And also, it's an escape. It's an escape.
Exactly. So I mean, I find myself being I just grab my computer and I just keep on working on my computer, or I'm on WhatsApp with my friends, just checking in with them. And
Right.
I noticed that my kids do the same, especially my daughter. She's then either on the phone with her best friends or with your daughter.
With her cousin, my daughter. Yeah, they do that a lot. It's and it's fine. It's fun to see that and hear it, because it keeps that, that emotional and that social connection. I'm very happy. They do their silly things, and I'm very happy that they do.
Yeah.
So screen is also a means of communication and connection, especially when you're in the shell. I mean, we're in a like multi-story building, so we don't have a safe room in the apartment. We need to go down 2 floors, so it's a huge miklat shelter, and so there is social interaction. But other houses, like in your apartment, it's just you. So it's nice to be able to have that social interaction when you're not in your safe room. I want to say, for the record, I prefer a safe room than having to run down all night, but that's a different issue. Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So flexibility with screen time. Yes, it's a big thing.
Yeah. So okay. Now, I have to admit that we do put some limits on the screen time. I mean, it's not now 8 hours a day. They do still have to do some chores. They still have to do their homework. So one of the things that that my kids have to do, because they're in 11th and 12th grade, and they have Bugaboo coming up, is they do have to study. Now, we can always argue about the amount and where the focus is. So my son decided to focus on the subject, which he actually had his Bagot exam scheduled for this Monday or Tuesday.
Right.
So the whole country at the moment needs to move it.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, so because it's an external one. So he doesn't get a choice. He needs to study. Now, they also have to read a little bit. And no one can tell me that their kids can't read for 20 minutes a day.
Right.
Now, here's the thing, okay? 20 minutes, they don't have to read it in one chunk. They can read, 5 minutes.
Right.
But reading is really, really important, and it's not the screen. And it's so important for the brain development and for our language development and for so many things. So that's something that we need to do.
So what you're saying is, okay, so there are certain things that they need to do, whether it's a war or not, but we need to be flexible maybe in how long they need to deal with this, or maybe in how many chunks they can break it up, and when they study,
Yeah.
Okay, so there's flexibility.
Okay.
I want to, on the topic of flexibility, there's something that I also tell my clients, whether they come for career coaching or Aliyah coaching or just general life coaching, is just let's understand and let's redefine and revisit the whole idea of success. What is success? Success to many is, having, especially as a working mom, making sure the household is working, like functioning well. We have 3 meals, the laundry is done, and of course I get all my work done, quality time with my kid, and the list is endless. But now we're in crazy times. Now I happen to have put on a load of laundry earlier on, so yay me, and I managed to make a soup this morning. Double yay me. But for example, I'm scheduled to give 2 lectures in 2 weeks' time, and they should have been ready by now, not because anybody's standing there, but this was my schedule, and I haven't finished them yet. Now, am I upset? No, because I redefine success for myself. I understand the reality I'm living in, and as long as I, advance a step a day, then I'll do that. And flexibility comes also into play with what we're doing right now. I didn't plan, neither did you, to have this episode done, but we both feel so strongly about helping other Olim parents that we said we just put everything else on hold and we get this out because people need help. So redefining success is really important. So like you said, so
Absolutely.
If you manage to read those 5 minutes, amazing, and really pat yourself on the shoulder for it, because it's really not easy. We're talking sleep deprivation, we're talking, nerves lying blank, we're talking so many challenges. So look at your small successes, they're huge.
So actually, on that topic, we discussed it earlier on. Just like now that we talked about it again, it just triggered something. Like during the first 2 days, I had like this whole plan that I needed to finish for. Actually, this week, I was supposed to give 2 workshops, and I just canceled everything because there is just
and that's no way. Okay.
And I just couldn't concentrate at all. And then I was like, okay, let's just be kind to myself. which is something that I know that you wanted to talk about.
Yeah, it's the next one on the list, so it's amazing that you're talking about it. Yes,
but
absolutely.
here's the thing with me wanting to be kind to myself. That for me was a success. Like usually I used to like beat myself up and saying, "Oh my God, and you didn't do this and you didn't do this," and And this time I was like, "No, okay, it's okay. You just like you're just functioning, and that's okay. You got dinner ready."
Yes. Yes.
Okay. You literally succeeded to having a shower without having to cut it short.
People outside of Israel do not realize how big an issue showering is at the moment. It's ridiculous. They even set up a website. When can I shower? Okay.
Yes.
I looked at it. Okay, it's not brain surgery. It's like it's pretty intuitive. But anyway, the point is, it's such an issue. And yes, yesterday I managed to have a shower and wash my hair, and I felt so accomplished. And yes, the minute I was dressed, the alarm went off. I kid you not. So also with our kids, hygiene. Of course, we don't want them to run around smelling, but I'd rather have my kid not shower than panic and slip in the shower and hurt themselves. Again, flexibility and kindness. We need to be kind to ourselves and certainly to our kids. It's okay. Absolutely. A piece of news that caused quite a stir was the announcement by the government that places of work are being opened up again, while all the frameworks for children, such as schools and kindergartens, are still closed for at least another week. That is a huge, huge problem for parents, and especially Olim parents who may not have as much support here in Israel. Why don't you say a few words about really what the situation is, also from a legal standpoint, what is an employer and employee allowed to do, not allowed to do, and then we'll give some tips of how to handle that very challenging situation.
Yeah. So most places can't force you to come in. So that is the big one. Okay.
Okay, so if I have a child at home that I don't want to leave alone, I don't have to go in.
They can't force you to come to work.
Okay.
If you have a kid that is under the age of 14, or you have a special needs child under the age of 21. So that is very, very important. They can't force you to come in.
Okay. Are you allowed to work from home, or?
So that's why I said but. Okay. Now, first of all, they can't fire you over it. Okay. So your job is
that's good.
Okay. Yes, but they don't have to pay you.
Oh wow. So it's like I'm forced to take unpaid vacation. Yeah.
Legally, they can't force you to come in. However, they don't have to pay. So basically, you can take unpaid leave, and your job is secure. There are a few things that you can do. If your job allows it, you can you can offer to work from home. Obviously, if you work in a shop, that's not possible. So there are a few things that that you might be able to do. You first of all might be able to coordinate with your spouse or with your partner. You could maybe connect to mothers that are or parents who live in the same building. Obviously, if you have very little children, that might not be an option. Because, for example, I wouldn't be willing to take 3 babies here, although my mama is like
right
10 seconds away from me. This would be too much of a responsibility for me. As I said, you can ask your boss to work remotely if possible. Maybe maybe
cut hours, but not
exactly. Maybe cut hours, but then again, you still need to find someone to take care of your child. Maybe maybe you can work in shifts. That might be an option. As I said, maybe do co-ops with other families. Maybe there are grandparents around who are willing to to step in.
I mean, many Olympians struggle with that, but
yes,
but maybe
exactly. And maybe you could ask at the office. I know some offices actually do that. If you can bring in your child, I've seen it in the local supermarket that people just brought in their child. I mean,
right. And also, I mean, from my work in high tech, like not even during war times, but when there were like chagim, where there was like Chol Hamoed, I would bring up my daughter, especially when she was a little older. I mean, especially teenagers, or even like first time I brought her in, I think she was 3. She was just happily there sitting with a screen. Sometimes we would even organize like a little movie showing in one of the meeting rooms. Often these meeting rooms are also the safe rooms, so that's pretty, let's say, fair. So yeah, I mean, I think it's just worth taking initiative, asking your bosses. Usually people are up, talking about flexibility. People usually are very flexible. Everybody in this country, well, almost everybody has children. People are usually very understanding here in Israel. So, like, to Olim, just go and ask, make a suggestion. Usually people are very open to suggestions because everybody understands the very, very trying times that we're going through.
Yes, they do. And it affects all of us.
Absolutely. Yes.
Yeah.
I want to also talk about, it's a bit of mix of everything that we talked about. It's both touches on control and flexibility and redefining and also kindness. The whole notion of food, because it's a big issue. So you and I, we were brought up, by parents who are healthy. I mean, not crazy, but health conscious. We eat very nutritious meal, and snacks exist, but very, very little. I think very balanced diet on the whole. And the whole like culture in Israel, like snacking endlessly, is like, I still have a hard time with it. And especially with it being Purim, and everybody just before the war bought loads of snacks for the Mishloach Manot. And then we were stuck with them because the kids never got to go to school to give out the Mishloach Manot. I also had a business networking event where we always were expected to bring Mishloach Manot, and it's all here at home. What do we do? And we had an alarm. Most people already, it's like the Mishloach Manot probably don't exist. I don't know how I managed to not touch mine. No, I know how. Anyway, that's not things, and it's okay. It's okay. We need to have these conversations, especially parents. Please don't get angry at your kids who are eating stupid amounts of snacks. It's our way of dealing with that. In the next episode, you will actually explain why, how, and whatever. But I want to focus on the flexibility, on the kindness, of the understanding. I did have a conversation with my daughter about foods and snacks, and it was a good conversation. I was just very calm. I talked to her. She understood. She changed certain things she was doing, and it's really important to try and have also a food routine, because the more proper foods we eat, the less we're likely to snack. And I had a really funny, only in Israel moment the other night when we had literally 3 alarms between 2 and 3:30 at night, one after the other. And then we had people snacking in the shelter at 3 o'clock, the most weird and wonderful things. And I'm sure nobody usually eats in the middle of the night. Certainly not the snack feast that we're having. I admit I didn't have a cup of coffee because I was like, I need this. But so yeah, crazy times. We need to be flexible. We need to be kind.
Definitely.
That'll pass. It'll pass. We can go on a diet later. It's fine.
And something that people tend to forget, even in normal times when we're tired, or stressed, we tend to grab the sweets and the salty. And actually, a quick anecdote about the Mishloach Manot. My daughter came to me the other day. It was like 2 or 3 days into the war, and she was like, "Mom, you won't believe it. Like, I was on the phone with my best friend, and she basically finished her Mishloach Manot. All 3 of them, all 4 of them, they decided, like 3 or 4 kids decided to, they really like each other, and so they decided to give each other Mishloach Manot. And she was like, and I still have mine. Well, we also dipped into hers slightly.
Yes, and also in the supermarket, you go, the snack section is
it's huge.
It's huge, but it's empty. So we've talked a little bit about sleeping, about eating. I also want to talk about sleeping for a second here, because we do need routines. But in times of war, I mean, this might sound a little funny, but if I've learned one thing is, in times of war, out of the kindness to ourselves, we need to do certain things when we can, not necessarily when we have to or when we used to. Number one, pee. I kid you not. Go to the toilet whenever you can is ridiculous, because you don't know when you're going to be stuck in the safe room or in a clut. All right. Eat, sleep, and shower. Really, just do it whenever you can. And if it's in the middle of the day and you need to sleep, just sleep. It's more important than anything else. Again, flexibility and kindness. That's really, really important. Yeah. So thank you for that. So in closing, could you give what I always call my 3, in this case, maybe 4 gold nuggets? What are the 3 to 4 tips that you want our audience to walk away with when it comes with dealing with uncertainty, both for ourselves and as parents, of course?
So I think the 4 gold nuggets are actually the 4 big topics that we discussed, which is, make sure that you know what is in your control and what is, what you can't control.
Right. And let go of what you can't control.
Yeah. And be flexible. I think be flexible is something that we also spoke in the first time around. So,
yes, so with respect to the cultural differences.
Yeah. So that is actually something that, it's like a reoccurring theme. You definitely need to redefine what success is.
Yes.
And as always, be kind to yourself.
Kind to yourself, be kind to others. Yes, absolutely. Yes. Thank you so much for being on the show. It's just so helpful to other fellow Olim parents. And you stay put where you are, because we're going straight on to recording the second part. And so thank you so much for now, and we shall see you in literally just a second.
Yes.
Aliyah Pathways with me, Dr. Dahlit Brin, supporting your journey toward confidence, clarity, and connection in Israel.